Hello, good morning, everyone. People on the YouTube, as well as the parents and kids who are watching us. We are very, very happy to be joined by one of the two great educationalists in India, like Dr. Srihari Prakash sir, who is basically Vice-Chancellor of Sri Padampat Singhania University, and he's an alumni of BITS Pilani as well as IC Bangalore. And being a BITSIL startup, it's a it's an honor for us to have you, sir, with us. And we have been joined by Manju Gupta ma'am. She's principal of Kothari International School, Noida, and she'll be telling us about the different things which will be happening in this scenarios of schools and the implementation of NEP at that level. So, Srihari sir and Manju ma'am, there's one question which has been there on different scenarios. Like we have seen that COVID has impacted the world in a very different way. Like kids are mostly present on Zoom calls. I was not even familiar of Zoom calls to this level before COVID situation, and they have a scheduled timings throughout the week. Like each and everything is scheduled too much, and it's very much intensive. Like if we talk to a kid now, like if any student, let's suppose even a college student or a school student, so their schedule is totally fixed. Like 7 a.m. to this, I have this class, 2 a.m. to this, I have that class, then to this, I have that class. So a scheduling is there. But do you think it's something which is taking away like a natural response to human being? Like this kind of scheduling, is it good for us to be disciplined or into different and productive? But is it also having certain like drawbacks on our whole persona of a human being in a natural as well as a like radiant way?
Yeah, I think you have hit the nail on the head. This has been bothering us for almost last 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, initially when we were thrown this uh, uh, calamity, whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
and we had to do online. It was to complete an ongoing semester. You know,
Mm-hmm.
in March when everything shut down, we just had about a month and a half left, and we said, "Acha, ye semester kisi tarah निभा लेंगे," and that was the purpose, and that purpose has been
Mm-hmm.
served very well, beyond expectations of anybody and everybody, including people who were vociferous opponents of online learning, teaching learning processes. They all said, no, this is doomsday. We can't do alternative. But the mere success of it and the compulsion that we have to continue this in the subsequent semester, people said, "Oh, okay, maybe we will do half the semester this way, and then the students will come back." I always keep talking about the sage on the stage syndrome, and all of us teachers have that sage on the stage. We would like to stand on a podium and you know do blah 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 till the cows go home. And that gives us that control. And one of the things we have been talking amongst ourselves in the university is, look, in a classroom the teacher is standing there, and his mere presence uh, you know gives a focus to all the students. And now you are reduced to 4 inches of screen, or maybe at best 8 inches of screen. And around this 8 inch of screen, there is a whole world happening. He's sitting in his home, his mother is cooking maybe something very delicious, maybe his father is having something, he's also on the phone, maybe the grandparents are watching television, his siblings are around, all kinds of distractions. There will be people coming in and going out of the house. How are you going to have that focus? So if you are going to say that you are going to be, you said 7:30, or even if you say 9:30 to 5:30 or 10:30 to 5:30, that a lecture one after another is not
Mm-hmm.
going to work. Then the question is, how was it working earlier? It was working earlier because the students would interact even during the lectures. I'm sure uh, half the class sitting at the back benches would be exchanging WhatsApp jokes and other things. So they had that, and after every class they would go out, have a drink of water, interact and have fun with each other. That whole thing has disappeared. So the whole model, what we are talking about, is not going to work. So what we are proposing is we must have an asynchronous online learning mechanism, that some of the students will work the morning, early morning, maybe they will get up and work. You provide that material, you provide that guidance throughout the day. So the teacher's presence is there, it's only intermittent, and take it into a learning process, which, because it's online, gets recorded. The teacher is satisfied that each student is learning, and grade it.
Yeah.
See, students will do it if it is graded. Otherwise, they will say, "Chal, I will log in. Ma'am, I have a problem with my data, so I will switch off my mic as well as my video, and then you don't know what I'm doing." Yeah. And some of the sincere ones will suffer through the whole thing, and the smarter ones will say, anyway, in the class we used to daydream, we used to sleep in the at the back of the class, or if we didn't understand, we would depend on some friend who teach us in the evening or just before the exam,
Yeah.
especially those who are hostelites. And this is how things were happening. Suddenly, all that is now gone. Now the teacher has to replace every one of them, and it is better that we replace as quickly as possible and reduce the numbers slowly. I mean, we can't, unless you have thought through an alternative model, you can't simply replace it, this model with that model. So you start replacing it, start at 10%, make it 50%. Supposing 50% of the classes are asynchronous, that means the students will do at their own leisure while watching TV. They'll continue, maybe put in a little bit of midnight, burn a bit of midnight oil, and all our students are very capable, irrespective of what age group you take. And they will learn. Maybe they will learn sitting on a commode. I don't care when they will learn and complete the assignments, as long as these assignments keep happening and the teacher gives in their inputs and make sure that the learning is complete. And this whole process can be graded very well because it's on record, and it will be very pleasurable. The teacher will have his satisfaction that I have taught these students, and my students have learned. I think at the end of the day, what does the teacher want? That all his students have learned.
Yeah.
Uh, See, the biggest disappointment Dronacharya had with Eklavya was this fellow learned without me teaching him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now you involve in that learning process, and you say, yes, all my students have learned with me. And I think that's what is the change that is required
Yeah.
across all styles of learning. And we are trying to push, I mean, we are bringing in that flipped classroom, collaborative learning, do a mind map, and a number of things.
Yes.
We are training. See, the teachers are now getting trained as to how to look at a camera and speak.
Yeah.
And none of us were there. And some of the school teachers, I mean, you see those WhatsApp videos, my heart goes out to them. The kind of innovations they have done, tying the mobile to a clothes line, and
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff people have done, and they are successful. The students are with you. Only thing is, have a heart out for the student who has to look at that 4-inch screen day in and day out. I'm sure otherwise, if it was a movie, the student would watch it for almost 3 hours without blinking an eyelid. But then we are not going to create that kind of an interest.
Yeah.
Our capsules will have to be, I don't know. When I was a student, we were told the attention span is about 15 to 20 minutes. I think today the attention span is probably come down to seconds, if not a couple of minutes. So our packets have to be only those 2 minutes, 5 minutes long uh, videos, which are the typical lengths of WhatsApp videos, which you see. I think that should tell you, that should give you very good guidelines. and students will watch those videos one after another and then come back to you, and they can, and your sessions which you have can be simply discussions of what they have already learned, and you will have the satisfaction that, look, if the student already knows, I don't have to teach him, and he already knows because this is the material I gave him to study, and this he's completed that. The discussion is just to see to it that if there are some misconceptions, misunderstandings, and you need to smoothen out certain things, you do it. It's easier said than done, because starting with me, if I start a session like this, I will start with basics, and this is, my cassette will be on and I'll go on, blah blah blah. But this is a transition which all of us will have to do that, and that's bring in a synchronous online into the picture. I think that's the first solution I would like to offer. Uh, I would like comments from Madam, and I'm sure at a school level they are much more innovative, because the school teachers are more, emotionally and intricately connected with students. University teachers, your students, some of them are good. You take great pride in their abilities, but you hardly, that you can't really change too much of their framework, what has already been built in schools. So that's why I wanted to go first, so that I will have something to say. I'm sure Madam will really have something more innovative to add to this. I'm all ears to listen to you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Namaskar. Namaskar once again to all the audience and both of you. Well, very well explained by you, sir. And this is what is happening all across. But yes, at school, we have larger responsibility. We have the responsibility not only of students, but of parents too. So what has happened is, because a child would learn, if today's parent, I'm not talking of yesteryears, when we were growing up, parent didn't even know where we were and what were we doing, which class we were in. But today's parent knows what was taught today. So such an involved parent community with whom we deal today is to be educated. Initially, this COVID has done good to us in making connections more alive. So what happens is, like, I'll talk about kindergarten. I start from there. So if I talk about kindergarten, we educate parents more than children. In the sense that how it is to be taught, initially we were doing it, the work in school, and parents were doing the same work differently at home. So even if small concepts were to be taught, the parents did their way and the teachers did their way, and little child was confused. Whether should I listen to the parent or should I listen to the child, teacher? And this child now is in a synchronous mode with the parent and the teacher, because parent sits, I'm talking of kindergarten first. So the parent sits with the child, screen on. So the parent knows that this is how the teacher is teaching. And if I do the same way, the resonance effect would be there and this child would learn. So the learning is becoming faster and the confusion in the mind of the child is slowly going. And I think I see a lot of improvement in teaching learning process. The teachers are also always on their toes. Let me put it the other thing. The teachers are always on the toes because there's a parent in front of them all the time to see what are they saying and how are they saying. Okay. And especially with little children. So with you at the university level, children are independent, parents are not involved, and hence, well, the teachers needn't be that conscious. But at school level, parents are involved. And as you grow, so kindergarten parent is 24/7 with the school, with the child, and with the learning. As they in the primary years, also parents are quite involved. But middle school and of course secondary school, well, the parents also give it to children and they become confident that my child will take care of himself or herself. So till primary section, The teachers are, I would say, COVID has done wonders to them. Let me put it, as an administrator and as an educator, I enter into their classes and I see teachers have changed in the sense, the way they interact, the way they plan their lesson, because they have to keep children engaged. They cannot be the sage on the stage. They cannot be that nobody is watching. And the other positive part, because the lessons are getting recorded, we use Google Classrooms. Okay, so the Google platform, we record all our lessons. And the teachers see that lesson themselves after they have delivered. They get to know, here I went right and here I went wrong. And next time when I perform and next time when I do, auto correction happens. So at the teacher's level, the auto correction happens. The learning happens that I made a wrong face, or maybe my pauses were wrong. These small little things also teachers are able to notice and correct. So it is a self-evolving learning of the teacher. I'm talking from the teacher's perspective. Then the teachers are getting trained. It was very difficult for me. I'll tell you, in 1994, no, in 2004, I'm sorry. In 2004, the school I worked for, okay, there was Ministry of Education, which gave awards to schools for integration of technology in education. So that was motivation from the external motivation was happening, schools were doing, and with pride and with a lot of humility, I would like to share that this my school, which was Navrachna Baroda, got a #1 School of India award, and Abdul Kalam ji gave that award. The president, you stand in front, means, you know, meeting president for integrating technology in education. Forget about the cash award. It was 15 lakhs at that time, which was again a big thing. So we won the state, we won this, the national, and it was great pride. But today when I sit back and I say what I did then and what is happening today, well, that was only 5%, and today we are doing almost like we've moved on, I think 500 times. So today, if Abdul Kalam ji has to give me an award for integration of technology, well, I am just sure that he would be very happy sitting up there. The schools he left as awarded schools have gone multi-folds. So my call is the teachers are developing, education is developing, and these 12 months, let me call it 12 months, because our official school ended by end of February. By middle of February, the academic session ends, and then there are exams, etc., results, etc. So for teachers, been 1 year of learning, doing it differently, and the whole story is that things have happened beautifully. So one is teacher has grown multifolds, and at K-12, I would say K-12 education, teachers have learned a great deal. The second is the curriculum has grown. That other thing is the curriculum has grown. Now, as sir was saying, that pedagogies have grown, that you change pedagogies. But along with that, you have changed curriculum also, because when it comes to, online, you can't do everything which you did offline. So you change the style of curriculum. You change the curriculum as such. I would not say pedagogy is the curriculum. Come on, let us only do essentials. Let us not do anything and everything written in the book. Teachers started thinking. And the new design of curriculum came up, which was more with today's readiness. Otherwise, what was happening? We were teaching 20 years back. We continue teaching the same thing till next 20 years and till today. We didn't change the curriculum. We didn't think that my sessions with the teachers were, please think, why are you teaching this? Is it written in the book, or does it make a difference to the child's life? And we will only do, because we are short of time, and we were a little skeptical about how it will go. So I said, come on, let's reduce it to half. I gave that permission to teachers. Let's reduce the curriculum to a half. And with that, they did. And today they're celebrating, ma'am, our children have learned better than last year. They know it more than what they did it in the previous session, which was 2019-20, which ended before pandemic. Now they're happy that their children are more knowledgeable, the children have better experiences of learning. And so I said, come on. So do you learn this, that the curriculum can be reduced to 50%? Why are you teaching those ancient things, which can be the sidey things? Like I'll give you maths, primary. Why are you teaching place value, face value, and 5 styles of doing finding LCM and HCF? Come on, change. Give them one and give them exposure of all 5 and let them choose. So the whole story is that the curriculum is reduced, curriculum time, transaction time has reduced. And I'm so happy that the teachers have now become the owners of their curriculum. What is to be taught, how it is to be taught, of course, is again, but what is to be taught is also in their control. And now everything being digitized, the textbooks, which were the masters of their life, this has to be completed from chapter 1 to chapter 30. I am happy to say they've written their textbooks also. So the publishing industry will kill me, my publishers will kill me, but I'm very happy that they have become owners of their books. So they've written their books, because in school education, the books are the key drivers of the year. So they've written their books themselves. And I have given a permission that to have a PDF format and share it with. So the money market will definitely kill me, that last year we made 30 lakhs. This year, almost like, stationery would be used. The rest would be free to the parents because it is all digitized. So the result is this digitization has done the cost cutting on education as well. Third, the children have learned better, and hence satisfaction level of Dronacharyas are also better. So they become Dronacharya. They don't care with their video if somebody else beyond their classroom of 24, we have a classroom of 24. So beyond that, those 24, if somebody else has also used their video, their classroom lecture recorded, they're happy about it. They will not kill Eklavya's anymore. They will let Eklavya's also enjoy learning.
Yes,
Fourth thing. Now, tomorrow's after COVID, when they return, we are preparing for last 2 to 3 weeks. And today also, children of grade 10 and 12 are writing their pre-board. So they are in the premises. But what I'm trying to say is, when the school reopens in full form, as Sir said, we'll have to change the mindset of ours, parents and children. What? One is work on curriculum and understand that that book has not to be finished. 2, the school's responsibility, K-12 school's responsibility would change. No transaction of content, but developing the psyche of children. So the schools have a responsibility of developing confidence, collaboration, creativity, and communication. I work on 4 C's. Just 4 things. If they improve, this textbook and this content delivery will happen. A confident child who knows how to communicate can learn anything in the world.
Yes,
from university, from schools, anywhere, and in a short span of time. I want to start, let me share my dream of tomorrow as I retire and as I move on and have started working on, start a school, which need not be the full school, where I will only teach children how to be confident and how to communicate. Communicate means written, writing, speaking, reading, and so if I'm able to do that, children will do. So the school ecospace will develop children on their social fronts and emotional fronts. पढ़ाई तो ऑनलाइन हो गई सब, पढ़ाई तो सारी सिंक्रोनस और असिंक्रोनस मोड में हो जाएगी कल. तो बच्चों को बच्चा रखने के लिए, बच्चों को हैप्पी रखने के लिए, the happiness quotient of the child has to be controlled or has to be nurtured in schools tomorrow. So I will work on happiness. My school, we will work on happiness, We'll work on confidence developing. We will work on communication. And hence, the result of that would be, if children are happy, this online mode and synchronous or asynchronous will make them learn and get 100 on 100 in boards. यही तो सबका सपना होता है. स्कूल क्या है? स्कूल जिसका रिजल्ट बहुत अच्छा है, स्कूल जिसके बच्चे बहुत अच्छे हैं, मतलब वेल मैनर्ड हैं एंड कॉन्फिडेंट हैं. तो वी आर ट्राइंग टू डू दिस. कल के स्कूल में let us be ready for creating SCL as our curriculum, not physics, chemistry, maths. Like, what we need to do is social emotional development of the child should take foremost seat. I would like to devote 60% of the time on social emotional development of the child, personality development of the child. 40% only this transaction of subject, which we call that subject by wise, English, Hindi, math, science, social science, or physics, chemistry, biology. I would only give 40% of the time. And believe you me, we have a 40-period schedule. And we're working because we have to be ready by 1st April with dreaming big that the children will come back to school. So 20 periods are only for cognitive development, or in terms of like physics, chemistry, maths kind of a thing. And next 20 periods are for social emotional learning. So we've developed a big, huge curriculum for that. And timeline, not curriculum. I hate the word that way, but what we need to do, which activities, which actions we have to take that the child becomes happy, confident, communicative.
Yes,
Thank you.
So guys, thank you for watching. Please press the like button after the video, and do let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Like, what do you think? Are marks the most important thing in life, or what do you think? What's your superpower in life? Or do you believe that during the COVID you have gained any new skills? Let us know in the comment section. Hit the like button and share the video with all your friends. Thank you for watching.